This is a red alert moment, just so you know.
Our beloved Canada is under threat.
One of our two biggest trading partners is saying they're under threat because of our president.
Everything is on the table.
From the standpoint of good, this would be bad. Well, it is happening and all hell is breaking loose because it is. What am I talking about? Well, Trump's finally doing what he said he was going to do. Some didn't believe him, but he's doubling down and officially saying that indeed tomorrow, the 25% tariffs, the trade war begins, and everything's about to get a heck of a lot more expensive and maybe even worse than we thought, given the response that I'll show you from Canada, the stock market's reaction, I'll show you Fox News's reaction, I'll show you so many things to go through as Trump is launching us into a trade war in the name of, I don't know, punishing them for immigration or something, or also U.S. manufacturing, misunderstanding the reasonable way you would go about such an objective. First, let's take a look at Trump doubling down on this. His press secretary correcting the record, saying they're starting tomorrow, despite reports claiming maybe they'd be delayed. And then we'll look at Canada's response. And like I said, the stock market's response.
That we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those.
So he's talking about trade deficits. That is not us subsidizing, as he says, or paying them lots of money, like he says. And instead, we buy a bunch of stuff from them. They buy a bunch of stuff from us. Because we are the wealthier nation, we happen to buy more stuff from them than they buy from us. Levitt saying no. The Politico report saying these are being delayed is false. And this is what prompts the global reaction of horror.
Hey, friends at Reuters are reporting that the president has made a decision on the Canada and Mexico tariffs, but that they won't actually be implemented until March 1st. I was wondering if you could confirm that.
And now the tariffs are stopping the loading of that video. I will quickly refresh and then we will play the clip again very strongly.
But that they won't actually be implemented until March 1st. I was wondering if you could confirm that and talk through some of the president's thinking.
I saw that report and it is false. I was just with the president in the Oval Office and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a
President Trump, true.
Statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to.
Imagine doing a science experiment. Keep that up on screen for a second, Jaden. Where you attempt to make someone's eyes bleed with the color red. Imagine trying to make red supersonic. For our podcast listeners, that's her sweater. Okay, that's it. Moving forward, this is a red alert moment, just so you know. No pun intended. But I am, as I've been telling you, trying to deal with the stress with a little bit of lightheartedness. But we could see an economic disaster, the likes of which we haven't seen in a while, I guess is how I'd put it. And early signs from the stock market seem to indicate that. Canadian MP Charlie Angus responded. We'll also look at Trudeau bolstering this message. There's unity in Canada over their opposition to what Trump's doing, and they're saying all options are on the table, which means, put simply, bad.
We are here this morning, my friends, as an unlikely group with leaders from across the political spectrum who've come together with cultural leaders, artists, academics, athletes, labor activists, and Indigenous militant activists. We represent the incredible regions of our beautiful country, and we are here for one reason. Our nation, our beloved Canada, is under threat.
Our closest ally, one of our closest allies, and one of our two biggest trading partners is saying they're under threat because of our president.
It is an economic threat, but it's also a threat to our values of decency and inclusion. It's a threat to our sovereignty and our very future as a nation. The threat comes, of course, from the President of the United States, a convicted felon and known predator. He's threatening massive tariffs to try and break us as a people. But the threat is also being driven by the hate algorithms of the oligarchs like Elon Musk. And there is the threat from people in our own country who would sell out our birthright to appease the gangster class from Mar-a-Lago. That is not going to happen.
Ooh, Angus. Some Angus beef coming out. I don't know if I like the way that sounds now that I'm thinking of it. But I mean, it's understandable they would have such a strong reaction. Trudeau's been saying similar things earlier on.
As President Trump stated yesterday, he is still committed to placing tariffs on Canada starting as early as tomorrow, possibly. Now, we don't know precisely what that could look like, but I do know two things. First, if the president does choose to implement any tariffs against Canada, we're ready with a response. A purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. We won't relent until tariffs are removed, and of course, everything is on the table. Part of what this council has been doing is pulling together perspectives from across industries, from across different parts of the country to make sure that anything we do will be fair right across the country, that all Canadians will share in the job of standing up for our interests and, quite frankly, standing up to defend the most successful trading relationship in the world.
Yeah, so remember, for our MAGAs out there, you might be thinking, yeah, put it on them. They've been good to us, but we've benefited from our economic intertwinement. But Trump has a big ego, and he's going to teach him a lesson about being so nice to us. Oh, yeah. But of course, this is first and foremost and most immediately going to hurt us, because the impact of such a tariff, yes, would disincentivize such trade. That's why Canada's upset, and Mexico will get to their response separately. But the immediate impact, the thing that disincentivizes the trade, is that we start paying way more for stuff. So then we go, this no longer is a good economic choice for us to purchase this stuff from another country. U.S. companies start either charging us more and the supply chain stays the same, or they shift where they're getting that from. Whatever that is, if that makes sense. And so we get hurt, and then the reaction to the pain is supposed to hurt Canada. So maybe chill with the shooies, okay? Fox News having to report on what Trump is doing to the stock market.
Said promises made, promises kept. That will be happening. 25% for Mexico, 25% for Canada, 10% tariffs on China. There was a bit of a market reaction. You can see the Dow off more than 200 points. If you pop up the big board, John, you'll see right about the time she confirmed that these will begin tomorrow, shortly after the 1 o'clock Eastern time hour. That's when you saw the Dow sell off. Not a huge sell off, but there was certainly a reaction to that.
Well, they have still got 10 hours to try to avoid tariffs before they snap into place at 12:01 a.m. So I wouldn't be surprised if the president hears from Canada and hears from Mexico, and maybe even gets a call from his friend Xi Jinping. Don't know.
He's a good buddy. So smart, so powerful, so masculine, so handsome, so authoritarian. My perfect bromance. You can take a look at this again. I consider myself a stock market expert, so let me put this in lay term. This is from the standpoint of good, this would be bad. Okay? If we flipped it upside down, it would be good. That's from what I've learned so far about my early investments in the stock market. This is the wrong way, I think. From the standpoint of up, it's going down. But I thought this was going to help. I don't know. Maybe Trump was... No, he couldn't have He couldn't have been wrong. Now, again, laughing so we don't cry. We're going to get into, this is a early breaking news segment. So initial reactions. We're waiting as of now on the reaction from Mexico. A part of why we don't know, I want to tell you it means this much more money for this much more money. We don't know though, because if Trump does this, then Canada imposes whatever the it is that they're saying they're going to do, other economic responses, tariffs, whatever. Then we do, oh, you're going to do that? Well, we're lifting it to 50. Trump recently said we may have to raise those. And then Canada does it also. So it really, the sky is the limit. And I've never used that phrase in a negative way like I'm using it now, but in a bad way. And so we really will just have to experience it, which is the brutal thing. And I'll be there with you every step of the way, but it has to be acknowledged. This is not about cheering on suffering for the sake of learning a lesson. It's not. I wish he was lying when he said he was going to do this so that people's lives would not be harmed. But it has to be acknowledged that we have been, don't you dare, maybe this is how I should put it, don't you dare, MAGA, continue being angry at us. Continue calling us every word under the sun because we supported the party that oversaw strong recovery that you say caused price increases that we actually handled better than our comparable economies. Don't keep saying we're terrible because of prices and then come screaming at us again when the prices skyrocket under your guy. Don't be surprised. I'm so sorry. With love, I say, we did tell you so. I put my life for the last 2 years into begging you not to do this. And you didn't listen. And you called me potty words I didn't even know were out there. And now, this is what we're going to get. If you do have a change of heart, though, you realize you were wrong. This is what's great about our movement. Welcome. Come on in. We're going to get through this together, and that's really all that we can do. Share your thoughts in the comments. Support the show. Get the members-only bonus show if you would like to by clicking the join button below.